Chapter 19. Nancy is murdered. It was nearly 2 hours before sunrise, and the streets were silent and empty. Fagin sat waiting in his room. His face was white and his eyes were red. He was covered with an old blanket and there was a candle burning on the table. Noah Claypole lay on the floor, fast asleep. Fagin's thoughts were terrible ones. Hate for Nancy, who had dared to talk to strangers, anger that his plans had failed, fear of ruin and prison and death. He sat without moving until he heard a footstep. At last, he whispered. At last. He opened the door and came back into the room with Bill Sikes. Sikes carried a bag, which he put on the table. There, he said. Take that. Fagin took the bag and locked it in the cupboard. He sat down again without speaking. He stared at the burglar. What's the matter? Shouted Sikes. Why are you looking at me like that? Fagin turned to the sleeping young man and woke him. Poor Noah, he said. He's tired. He has been watching her for so long, Bill. What do you mean? Asked Sikes. Noah Claypole sat up and rubbed his eyes. Tell me what you told me before, Noah, said Fagin, about Nancy. You followed her? Yes. To London Bridge? Yes. And there she met two people, a gentleman and a lady. She had been to see them before. They asked her to tell them about monks. They knew where we meet. She told them everything, didn't she? Cried Fagin. That's right, said Noah. And tell him what she said about last Sunday. She told them that she couldn't come last Sunday because she had been stopped by force. Sikes became wild with anger. He cursed everyone. Then he pulled open the door and ran out. Be careful, Bill, said Fagin. Don't be too violent, will you? When Sikes reached his room, he shut the door and put a heavy table against it. Nancy was lying on the bed. She had been asleep. Oh, Bill, she said, pleased that he had returned. Get up, said Sikes. He picked up the candle and threw it into the fire. Nancy went to the window to open the curtain. Leave it, shouted Sikes. Bill, said the girl in a frightened voice, why are you looking at me like that? The burglar watched her for a few seconds. Then he seized Nancy by her head and throat and threw her into the middle of the room. Bill, Bill, she said, tell me what I have done. You know what you have done, you evil girl. You were watched tonight. You were followed to London Bridge. Then don't take my life. I haven't forgotten my love for you. That gentleman and the dear lady will help us. I know they will. They have given me money. Let's leave this terrible place and lead better lives, far away from here. It is never too late to be sorry for the past. She tried to put her arms around him, but Sikes seized his pistol. He realized that somebody might hear a gunshot, so with all his strength he struck Nancy's face with the pistol. Nancy fell. She raised herself to her knees, breathed hard and prayed to God for forgiveness. It was a terrible sight. Sikes covered his eyes. Then he seized a heavy stick and hit her again.